Yes, we have the entity in those relations with the universe and universal forces, as are latent and exhibited in the present entity. In entering the present experience we find, astrologically, the entity coming under the influence of Jupiter, Mercury, Venus and Uranus. In the application of the entity in the experience in the Earth's plane, these would be found to mean little, were they judged astrologically alone. For often do the experiences in the various phases of development, through the experiences in the various spheres, bring the varied effect, as is applicable to an individual in the application of its own will. Not that will is ever taken from an individual entity, but that builded in each experience must be met by that entity, and only in making self-sown will one with the divine creative energy, and becoming as one with the same, may one develop in any experience. And in this entity many developments and many retards are seen. In Jupiter there is seen those influences of spring, innately and expressed in the entity's experience, the bigness of purpose, nobleness of intent, vision as to constructive forces, especially in that of the mental forces, so that the imaginative body, made with the mental vision, aided by the experiences of the entity, make for one who may wield a great influence in the physical or Earth's plane, by that of constructive measures in writing, or especially in play writing. In that in Venus is seen the love of mankind, the love of the fellow man. Yet in this same may be found that which, taken contrariwise, will bring hardships that are hard often in the Earth's experience, unless judged by that which has been builded within self. For the soul is that portion of the entity that, being a portion, or the gift of the creator or creative energy, is builded to be presented to, or made one with, that whole. Not that the soul loses its identity in the whole, but knows itself to be in accord and one with the same. In making for selfish interests, or interests that became contrariwise in the law of love, these may have brought, as will be seen, some conditions hard to be understood. In that of Uranus, especially taken with Mercury, Venus and Jupiter, produces that which is often felt within the entity as a reaching an end, and some other source, some other direction, some other aid, must be sought for the entity's own best development. Yet often in the opposite, as is manifested through that experience, for the entity, as seen, that, to soar into heights not gained but by few, the entity is able to gain an insight into the throne room itself, as it were, and able to experience in the mental vision of itself things not understood by many, yet making these practical in an everyday material-minded experience or manifested sphere, becomes a burden, a hardship yet taken in loving kindness to individuals, find an expression that surpasses most of the visions as may be seen or felt by this entity. Creating, then, as a whole, that as is manifested in the present experience of the entity, 238, we are speaking of, as found, one that has often been most found in the way of expressing not only emotion, but of making it in such a way and manner as to awaken the same in another. This is a forte of the entity. This is a crowning point in the entity. This is one portion, especially, that should be fostered, nourished, developed, for in giving to others that awakening of the abilities that lie within themselves, is lending in a manner that self understands the relationships of self and individuals to the creative energy, or the whole. One capable of showing, mentally, physically, the appreciation felt, and one capable of acting in such a manner as to snub individuals in such a way as they desire that the hills fall upon them. Use these abilities aright. One capable of seeing in nature, in every form of manifested life, the expression and the image of the Creator. To the entity, even the snail may be beautiful, even the rose may be gorgeous, even the sunset may be awe-inspiring. One that is capable within self of expressing, in word, in deed, that thought felt, and the forces in nature that are in accord with the divine forces. the entity may have builded in self the ability even to paint. In that would-be expressions have taken a different channel from the imaginative forces in writing, in the appearances, and that as has been builded and is manifested in the present experience. In the one before this we find in that land, that period known as France, and during the exile of Charles II, the entity was among those in that land who aided that ruler during the sojourn in the land, and the daughter of the house in which the ruler was entertained, gaining and losing during the experience, for the entity then was carried by that ruler to a different land, and in the power given over others the entity lost. For while there were definite views as respecting moral and spiritual relations in the change, self-interests were considered often first. In the name Marlin, in this experience many of the relations as come from the social and home relations have been denied and that builded in that experience. In giving expressions of same to others may the entity outdo that builded in that experience, bringing into self and self's own understanding that of the necessity of ever being in accord with creative energy, manifested in every form in material or earth's experience. In the one before this we find during that period known as the Trojan period. In that experience the entity was among those who were of the household of the one causing so much dissension among the peoples that were given to lords that of desire and of expressions of beauty in every form. The entity gained through this experience, for the entity chose to teach, rather the concepts of that as was given by the teachers of that period. In the name moment, in this experience those same teachings are innate in the entity's inmost being, for beauty of form, beauty of mind, nobleness of spirit, wonderfulness of expression, are worshipped even within, but in accord with those of the creative force. In the one before this we find in that period when divisions arose in the land known now as Egypt. The entity was then among those who, after the settlements of those divisions and the building up of the land, in the way of establishing man's relationship with the divine, man's relationship with the fellow man, the entity was among those who wrote the songs in that period, that were chanted and sung in the temples then. Even in the very temples that arose as destructive forces, the entity's songs were chosen above those of others, giving much to the peoples in that period of the understanding of the relationships of individual to individual, of individual to the creative forces as may be manifested in the various forms in materialness. In the name Ejanluxiol, in the present there is seen the imaginative forces as are expressed from within, and those that are tinged with that which will tend to bring to the inner vision of an individual an expression of beauty in the creative end. This is the forte. This is the being that may be developed in the present, in the abilities of the entity, and that to which it may attain, as has been seen or given, there may come in the present much that may be builded in self, through expressing in the way and manner of self's own experience, that others may gain the greater insight into their relationships between the divine and the material, the creative energy, and the soul of an individual. For in him is the light, and the light shineth unto the darkness, and therein the entity may then come into the hearts and souls of many, that as will be but the light shining unto the souls of many, ready for questions. Q. The business idea which 238 has had in mind for several years, which will eventually take in many ideas, should it be developed now? And is W.M. Randolph Hearst the man to be interested? A. Not ready for development as yet. Hearst's interest may be interested, and may be developed through those interests. Q. In the association of Mr. Lynch with 238 and her husband 240, what do the forces feel to be the matter, and what procedure would the forces suggest? A. This becomes rather of the personal or individual nature, for in the supervision there comes those of combative influences, for the soul of. 238 has grown beyond that of Lynch, and to be led by one that is beneath is but to bring those developments that are often contrariwise to the understanding of each, and builds for each that which brings and breeds discontent. Being content is a happy position. Being satisfied is being lost. Q. The various patents which 238 has worked out. One head device for women. Should this be developed and marketed? A. Be very good. Q. When and how? And what is the prognosis? A. Depending upon the manner, the channels, and through which these may be carried forward, for this becomes, in its final analysis, that of a sales condition or proposition. While the merits of the condition itself are good, in its final analysis, as material, becomes a sales proposition. Q. The self-mounting carrier proposition that 238 owns, a majority stockholder. To whom could this be presented, as a possible buyer or user in royalty? A. Nickel alloy. Q. When and where should it be presented? A. In the office, in Pittsburgh, to Noyes. Q. What is the important sales point? A. The presentation. Q. When can this be realized on? A. When it's worked with. We are through for the present.